had the most wonderful Christmas, New Year's, and enjoying your holiday. In today's training, we are going to talk all about not getting what you want is actually serving you, right? The universe is delivering better to you. So how many of us get defeated, frustrated, angry when things don't go our way, right? That maybe you're thinking you're bad at manifestation, that you're a failure, you didn't do things right? You're not good enough, you didn't try hard enough, right? Or even if it's delayed, taking longer than you anticipated, right? It means that maybe you are behind, you're comparing yourself to other people, right? Or maybe if you lost someone, right? Your dream man, your husband, the guy you thought you would marry, he cheated on you, he left, right? And that led to you believing that you are not worthy of being chosen, being loved. And then, ladies, how many of you, whether it's 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years down the line, right, looked back and then you realize that the thing you cried over, you got frustrated and angry about, you were so heartbroken about, right, was actually a blessing in disguise. I know this has happened to me so many times, more times than I can even count, right? So in today's video, I'm going to give you personal examples of what happened to me recently, within a week actually. So many happened within a week that I'm going to share with you these examples. That proves that not getting what you want is always serving you, right? It's actually giving you exactly what you want. And in most cases, you will find, ladies, the universe is always actually delivering better to you, more than you can even imagine, right? But not in the way that you initially preferred or could even compute in your brain as a possibility. So if you're one who easily gets upset, frustrated, anxious, you worry often because things are burning down, things are not going your way, right? This video is for you because that used to be me. So the first example. So just a few weeks ago, I was in Melbourne and it was my last day in Melbourne. And I was catching a tram back to Southern Cross Station, right, to catch a sky bus to take me to the airport. So this is in Melbourne CBD in the city. So I was on Collins Street and a tram was on its way. It stopped in front of me on Collins Street, right? And everyone was rushing into the tram. And I noticed no one was giving, you know how when the doors open to a tram or a train, and you usually wait for someone or like a bunch of people to get out before you go in. You got to give way to people to get out because like, why would you go in? People need to get out, right? So everyone was rushing in and didn't give way to this lady, right? And she was trying to get out. I just noticed she's like trying to push through people, but everyone was just going in. So I just felt bad for her. So I waited for her to get out before I went in. And just before I was about to step foot on the tram to go in, right? The door shut, like quickly closed, right? And then the driver of the tram just took off. And then I was just like, almost like in like, what the frick just happened? I looked to my right and the same thing happened to another girl. The doors just shut in front of her, right? The tram driver didn't leave enough time for people to get on. And she was also like, what the fuck? And looked at me. Like, what? The tram driver just closed the doors? Like, how rude, right? But then we just both laughed. Almost like kind of like whatever, right? And we just knew like this tram driver was like, something's up with him, right? So tram drivers and bus drivers in Melbourne. So just like bus drivers, they can see in like the camera or the rear view or the side. Do they have side? No, the bus drivers do have side mirrors that they can see if someone's like running towards the bus or wants to get on and whatnot. But they also have cameras on the sides to see if people are waiting, people need to get off, people are like in the midst of going in and out, so they don't close the tram doors while people are doing that. didn't cut off a limb or whatever. But this tram driver, we were like, he was just cranky, having a bad day. I don't know what was happening. He just shut the doors. He could obviously see that there were people still like trying to get on, but we were waiting for people to get out before we get on, so we're not like blocking their way. But yeah, the tram doors just closed, right? And this tram driver just seemed like he was in a rush. I don't know, maybe he was just like, can't be bothered, or he just needed to meet his time. I don't know if tram drivers like need to meet a certain time or they'll get like super in trouble or something. But I was like, whatever. No point getting mad at this tram driver. I will just wait for the next one. Right? So I just went back to listening to my podcast, enjoying my afternoon, didn't make a huge deal about it. I'll get to the Southern Cross station, to the airport on time. It's all G. So then the next tram came, right? And this tram was way cleaner, had like 1/3 of the people inside the tram compared to the previous tram that rushed off. So the last tram, right, there was so many people that everyone had to stand up. They had to hold onto the railings and hold onto the handles on the roof. But this tram, the tram that came a couple seconds later, there were so many seats, right? So I walked in, and so did the other girl, where the doors closed on her as well. And also, that was also super surprised that the tram driver just like kind of just took off and abruptly left. So we both were able to get our choice of seats. Like, there was just so many seats available. In the last tram, it was so stuffed like sardines. You had to like squish your way in. And in that moment, ladies, I was like, the universe is always working in my favor. I just walked in with a big smile on my face, and I just knew like that happened for a reason. I didn't need to get worked up over it. I didn't need to get angry, frustrated. I was like, nah, not like, okay, you don't want to wait for me, and something's better is gonna come along. And it did, right? So I didn't get to hop on the tram before, right? But that was 3 minutes apart from this tram that I'm on now. But do you see how I could have been super angry, super frustrated, annoyed, and stay in that energy and be like, what the F? Like, how dare the driver just close the door on me, right? And let that ruin my afternoon, right? And then start creating stories in our mind about how things don't go my way, things don't work out for me, like bad things happen all the time to me, like things happen, things like this always, like people treat me bad all the time, right? Or you just go, oh well, not a big deal, right? Continue on with your day, right? And then like 3 minutes later, another tram comes, has 1/3 of the passengers, right? I get the pick of my seat, right? It's not crowded, right? So use this as an analogy, guys. Where in your life are you trying to squeeze onto a packed tram? Hello, lovely. I'm currently in Brisbane, Australia, but I'm telling a story from Melbourne. So where in your life are you trying to squeeze onto a packed tram, ladies? Meaning, where in your life are you trying to make it work, force something, right? Put pressure on it. You're getting frustrated, you're getting angry over something that isn't gonna go your way, right? You're trying to fit a square peg into a round circle. It ain't fitting, but you're like, boo, like it's trying to squeeze it in, right? Creating stories around why things don't work for you, right? Why do you always attract men like this? Why do bad things always happen to me, right? Or do you instead just go, oh well, right? Be so indifferent, be so unbothered by it, right? That is that person's projection. That person's having a bad day. It has nothing to do with me, right? So do you see the two differences there? You're gonna react to it, like get all riled up about it, spiral, right? Get super angry, like, oh, why is this always happening to me? It's like, oh well, nothing to do with me. I'm having a great day, right? Just go about your day like nothing is is affecting you, right? Be so indifferent, be so unbothered by it, right? You going back to your internal compass, your internal reference point of happiness, of wholeness. Everything is working out for me, right? Better is always making its way to me. And ladies, you may not see it, but it's happening. It's about to land, right? It's unfolding, right? I don't need to logic or figure it out, right? I just know better. Extraordinary is coming. It's on its way. So again, I literally got on the second tram, after 3 minutes of the first tram just taken off, and I got on it and I just laughed because I was like, of course, I've been doing this work for so long. And it was just like confirmation. I was just like, of course, right? Literally, right? The universe was sending me a better tram, a cleaner tram, a tram where I could just sit wherever I wanted, right? I didn't have to stand, didn't have to hold on to railings, didn't have to like be squished in between, like, I don't know, hundreds of people in the tram. Like the previous tram that was packed. Everything happens for a reason, right? So don't get caught up in the frustration and how bad it is. The world's on fire, this and that, right? You have to train yourself to snap out of it. And you have to remind yourself, better is coming, right? This is the unfolding of what I actually want and what is actually better, right? So think, ladies, this was taken away. This has too much pressure, too much force, too much difficulty for a reason. Something more aligned, right? That brings more happiness, more abundance is coming, is arriving to me right now. So let go. Let go of getting caught up in the storm, in the hurricane. Let go of the frustration. Let go of why everything is going bad, right? Don't get worked up over it. Don't get worked up over it. I'm sure you've seen all those memes where things are on fire and like people are just like, yeah. They're just like meditating. Things are on fire in the background. You're just like, yeah, minding your own business. You gotta be that way. So second example that I want to share. So this happened to me on the same day, ironically, when I was at the Melbourne airport. So I got to the Melbourne airport after that happened, waiting for my flight back to Brisbane. So I knew that my carry-on luggage was over 7 kilos, right? So I had my laptop and a few clothes that I had moved my check-in luggage to my carry-on because I thought that I would go over the check-in luggage limit, which was like 20, 23, I don't know what it was, right? But in fact, I was actually like a lot lighter than I thought, than the max. Because you know, when you like lift up your luggage, at first glance, you're like, oh my gosh, like this is super heavy. Am I gonna be over the limit, right? So that's what I thought when I lift up my luggage. I'm like, oh, and I didn't have any like measure, like scale to see my like how many kilos is my luggage. So I was just going off like when I go to the gym, I lift weights. So I'm like, this seems maybe it's gonna be over the limit, over the max limit that I paid for. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna move some stuff and some clothes over to my carry-on to hopefully get 2 kilos lighter or something. So, but then when I realized that my check-in luggage was actually way less, it was actually already on the conveyor belt and are ready to go through like the security thingo, wherever it goes, wherever it like parts and like delivers it to the plane. So I thought, oh, well, whatever. Like I can't be bothered to like take it off the conveyor belt because I already like sort of checked in on the thingamabob and unzip and like move everything. So I was like, whatever. I'm gonna take my chances. So my carry-on ended up being like 8.5 kilos. And so the max is 7 kilos to take on the plane as a carry-on. And sometimes where I'm at in some airlines, I know that they weigh your carry-on before you go on the flight. And people have told me they've had to pay $100, $200 because they go like a kilo over, 2 kilos, whatever it is. So I was just like, whatever. If they make me pay $100 for being a kilo, 1.5 kilos over, whatever, I'll just pay for it. Like, I'm just not gonna worry about it. No big deal. I don't need to stress about it. Again, this is years of me practicing, of just like having my nervous system just like at ease, like whatever, like no big deal. If something bad happens, I'll figure it out. Like car breaks down, like it's just gonna work out, like no big deal. There's no point getting riled up over something. Everything just fixed, like everything always just works out for me. So I've been able to practice that over a time. But I know the old me would be like, oh my God, like I don't like would have that lack mentality of paying $100, whatever. But now I have an abundance mindset, just more money just always like comes to me, whatever, compounds, and it's just $100, whatever. If I have to do that, I will just pay for it. I'm just not gonna worry about it. So I go through security, then I check my phone, and then I went to check my gate where my airplane is, and then I on my phone that my flight is delayed. I was like, okay, it's delayed. Let's see how long. So it says 40 minutes. So I was like, okay, not a huge deal. I have more time to eat whatever food I want to eat, go sit down, grab a drink, eat it slowly, relax. I don't have to like run to the gate or whatever. So I don't need to like rush myself, rush to go to the bathroom, whatever. I can just chill. And then I can figure out if maybe I can put some of my clothes in my, so I have like an actual carry-on luggage, and then I have a tote bag. So I was thinking, oh, maybe if I move some of my stuff from my carry-on luggage to my tote bag, because the last time I flew and they did check if I was 7 kilos or less on my carry-on, they didn't check my tote bag. They only checked that carry-on luggage. So I was like, oh, that's another idea. Maybe I can just move some stuff over, and then that'll be lighter. Because sometimes I've seen people just like they tell people, oh, just like I just want to wear your actual luggage. Like I don't care about your like purse or your like tote bag that looks like it's like less than 1 kilo, whatever. So they just make you like weigh the like heavier looking luggage that's carry on. So like, well, let's try that, right? So because the plane was delayed and people at the gate were like kind of like annoyed, they were like waiting so long, and then they were like apologizing on the intercom and like giving updates. They apologized. Then they instructed everyone, oh, so the plane has arrived. You can line up for boarding now. And ladies, because the flight was delayed, everyone was like, you know, when flights are like delayed, people like kind of get restless, annoyed, and they kind of just want to get everyone on the plane, like, let's just go, right? They skipped weighing everyone's bag, which they normally do. So it was like, it's happening again. It's happening again. So what seemed like an inconvenience, right? The flight being delayed, right? Actually saved me from possibly paying $100, $200. I don't know how much it'll be. I've never paid more on a plane for being over the limit.